worrying about.
Nope. And,
I think I have to see the words, not that I don't know the
Yeah.
words, but some of the little things
Yeah.
that you guys do.
and we have a copy that you can have too, but you can be
I
here too.
think that Kevin was using that for.
We have another copy. Totally up to you though.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll have one there, but, and then you can come here too.
One day. Yeah.
All right, just keep them on. Okay, we don't need a cable for this today, true? True. But I mean, we don't, we do you have a red one? I think I blocked that one. All right. I'm gonna give it a look at you. They're like, sorry. Turning, yes.
Silence.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Oh, I love the day today. Now, how many of you guys, this is the time of the year when I just defy the weather and I keep putting my winter coat away,
Yeah, good.
right?
Oh, today.
But then I have to go get it again. And then I defy it again and I put it, how else does, I like do that every spring. Whoa, Cindy didn't pull hers out at all. So let's go ahead and stand and let's do our welcome song. Huh? What, my coat? Oh.
The song.
Wilbur and Orville had a dream. Nothing is impossible. Imagine if a man took wing. Nothing is impossible. People, it can't be done. Man's not meant to run. Their little dream changed everything. They dared to touch the sky. There's a place inside of you where nothing is impossible. Oh, the great things you will do, 'cause nothing is impossible. You were born into this world, everything you need. Hold on to your heart. It starts the moment you leave. When you blow
Well, I could admit when I started it, did y'all see me go, okay, let's clap. She's doing this too. Let's welcome Beth.
Thank you, Kathy and Julie, for leading us in that. And welcome everybody who's here and those of you who are out there in virtual land, I guess we call that. Let us begin as we always do with our statement of faith. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God, the good omnipotence. And our affirmation, thank you, God, that we have come to this place to release the past, celebrate the present, and embrace the future in love, peace, harmony, and prosperity. And our congregational affirmation, if you join me. We at the Unity Center are a loving, diverse, inclusive, spiritual community who come together to demonstrate and live the teachings of Jesus Christ by listening, learning, and empowering ourselves and others. March, we're in a new month. It's a month of spring, right? We got sunshine out there, so we have a good start. March is the power of wisdom, Wisdom is the blend of knowledge from the head and the heart. The disciple is James, the son of Zebedee. The corresponding color is yellow. The location is in the pit of the stomach. And please join me in our affirmation. I am guided by divine wisdom in thought, word, and action. Thank you. Okay, let's do some prayer requests. I know I always have lots of things on my mind. Denise. Okay, Robin, Terry for healing. Linda. Okay, Lee and Roy. Diane. And I'd add Diane and Julene. Yes, Joanne. Nicholas for healing. Cindy. Okay, for two families who have experienced transition and family members. Okay, Diane. Kathleen and the passing of her husband. Anybody else? Any other person? Sue. Oh yeah, healing for Mary Beth. Eugene. Healing for Vanessa. Dennis. Healing for Virginia. Okay. We could probably go on, but we'll stop at this point and let's all center ourselves and realize that we all have the power within for healing. And let us pray that we recognize that, and especially for Rob and Terry, Lee and his brother Roy, for Nicholas, for Mary Beth, Vanessa, and Virginia, for all of these for healing, for peace for the Wiley family and Sandy's niece's family as they have members who have transitioned, for Kathleen and the passing of her husband on his transition, for safe travels for Diane and Julene, Charlie and David and Sue and myself, and for all those many other prayers that we hold close in our hearts. Again, that we recognize that we all have the power and we have the wisdom to make all of this happen. And we say, so it is. And we're going to have a short song now, and then we'll do our daily word.
There are the words for you. Thanks, Kathy, for putting that slide together. It's just a short little one we wanted to introduce you to. And today, I think for the theme word, we'll do it. We'll sing it twice. First time we'll say, bless these prayers. And then the next time we'll say, bless the wisdom. That's the theme for the day. And if it seems high, just do the octave below. Take my hand and be still. And these prayers we share. And the Spirit with love. Take my hand, be still. Share. Let the Spirit flow this moment. Fill our hearts with love. Daily word.
No. Denise will do the daily word for us now. And then Julie and Doug will do another song.
Good morning. I claim dominion and direct the course of my life. While I may not be able to control what happens in my life, I am always free to determine how I will respond. Through my divine faculty of dominion, I decide what to think, what to say, and how to act. If a thought of fear or powerlessness arises, I remember all the wisdom, understanding, and strength of God was within me. Whether I'm organizing my day or moving forward after making a life-altering decision, the principle of dominion is always mine to claim. Knowing this, I move through life with quiet confidence. I am secure in myself and in the knowledge I am a divine being. I claim dominion and feel my life expand into a field of limitless possibility and potential. You have given them dominion over the works of your hands. You have put all things under their feet. Psalms 8:6.
Here's a song written by Ruth Pelham, recorded by a few people. And it's also what we call a zipper song, where we can zip in wisdom for the theme today, but we'll start with turning, which is the first verse. Let us sing this song for the turning of the world, that we may turn as one. With every voice, with every song, we will move this world along, and our lives will feel the echo of our turning. Here's the chorus. Every voice, with every song, we will move this world along, and our lives will feel the echo of our turning. Let us sing this song of the wisdom of the world, that we may learn as one. Every voice, with every song, we will move this world along, and our lives will feel the echo of our learning. Every voice, every song, is word. Every voice, with every song, we will move this world along, and our lives will feel the echo of our learning. Let us sing this song for the loving of the world, that we may love as one. With every voice, with every song, we will move this world along, and our lives will feel the echo of our love. voice that every song along, and our lives will feel the echo of our love. And our lives will feel the echo of our love. And our lives will feel the echo of our turn. On banjo. Doug, thanks, Doug.
Thank you, Doug and Julie. We're quite blessed to have you and your talents, and thank you for sharing them. We are also fortunate to have Joann Baumann with us this morning, speaking on the power of wisdom.
Good morning, everyone. Speaking of wisdom, there's been a lot of wisdom expressed already this morning. Let's go back to our statement of faith that we say at the beginning of every service. There is only one power, one presence, and one power in the universe and in my life, God the good, omnipotent. And this is the most powerful word of wisdom that you can have in your life. There is only one power. So we're going to address some of these areas that we give power to another power. Also, in what was just read in the Daily Word, I claim dominion and direct the course of my life. This is wisdom. I claim dominion over things. Through my divine faculty of dominion, I decide what to think, what to say, how to act, and in any decision we make. I remember all the wisdom, understanding, and strength of God are where? Within me. The principle of dominion is always mine to claim. I am a divine being. I claim dominion. And in Psalms 8, verse 6, where it says, you have given them dominion over the work of your hands. And I'll add the work of your mind and what you believe. You know, I guess I don't need to say any more. These phrases say it all. But to elaborate a little further, in Proverbs 4, verse 7, when it says, wisdom is the principal thing, with all thy getting, get wisdom and understanding. So in this world, our getting usually involves getting things or money, so material things. But with all thy getting, get some wisdom and understanding. So we need to be putting some time and energy into getting wisdom. So how do we get that? Well, in reading spiritual material or coming to services that teach us about spiritual wisdom. And there's this man, Jim, I forget his last name. He had a near-death experience, and I spoke of this recently. In the near-death experience, and although he was very successful as far as earning income in his lifetime, his spiritual search was very minimal. And so when the angel of light showed him this file of his spiritual journey, it was a very thin file, which indicated his spiritual efforts were very minimal. And so that's an important part of our journey in life. So to be seeking these spiritual truths. And in Proverbs 16:16, it says, better to get wisdom than gold. So in other words, we need to be spending time and energy in our spiritual search. It is said that 2% of the world's people have more wealth than all the rest combined. Then how is it that we still have poverty and we still have starving people in places of the world? So this 2% of the people that have all this wealth, if they had some wisdom or more of it, they might be putting some of their immense wealth into some humanitarian issues. In Proverbs 24:3, it says, through wisdom is a house built. Okay, so anybody who knows anything about building, you have to start with a strong foundation. And you don't just build a house on sand or on ground. You have to have that concrete in the ground. So likewise, when we're building our life, we need to build it on a strong foundation, and that's the spiritual principles. So we do that by using wisdom with personal finances, all the way to government spending. It also, in our personal lives, good diet versus a lot of junk food. Or how about stinking thinking versus wise thinking? So building our lives on a strong foundation with good thinking and good choices. And in Ecclesiastes 7:19, it says, wisdom strengthens the wise more than 10 mighty men. There's 2 stories I read recently about using prayer to strengthen us. So one was a story called Running on Empty. And this is a story of a nurse who was burnt out, worked to the limits during the height of the pandemic a couple of years ago. And she said she didn't think she could just go on one more day dealing with a lot of sick people and dying. She says, I was overwhelmed, emotionally drained, and a cloud of exhaustion had weakened her. And someone said, I know you feel helpless right now, but ask God to give you the direction you're seeking and the strength to persevere. She decided to intentionally seek God through prayer. Soon after, she was invigorated with a new sense of purpose. Not only was she emboldened to continue nursing, but God also gave her the strength to serve even more people by traveling to hospitals around the country. So the power of prayer to give you the strength to endure or go on no matter what it is that you're facing. So when you may feel, like the title says, running on empty, that you just don't have one more ounce of energy to go on or to put into what you're faced with, prayer can give you a divine infusion of energy and strength to go on. So again, this is wisdom. You know, how do we deal with life situations, whether it's personally or even on a larger scale? How do we go on prayer? This is wisdom. And there was another story. I like miracle stories or positive outcome stories. This is the story of a teacher, And this teacher struggled with pain and fatigue during a conference. But then there were some prayer cards. She pulled out this prayer card and she said, God refreshed my spirit as I reread the note with that prayer card that someone had given her. So how does this happen? And I have a little story that doesn't have to do with prayer, but in my travels, one time I was driving up north and I was very tired and I wanted to like pull over and take a nap. And then this song came on the radio, a song that I really liked, and I'm singing along with it. And my tiredness went away. How does that happen? So there's something in the air that can give us the strength or an energy boost to help us go on no matter what the circumstances are. So these are just some little stories about how this wisdom works in our lives. So then there's some quotes in A Course in Miracles. One is called Innocent Perception, how we look at things. So with wisdom, we are unaware of evil. In other words, okay, we exist in this world. We may listen to the news, and there's all sorts of things that go on that the news people like to cover. And of course, in this city, it seems like there's a lot of shootings, I should say, in the city of Milwaukee. But if we look to a higher level, we look at these deeds as a call for love and healing. So rather than judging it all as bad, there is a great need for love and healing in the world. And in the true story of Daniel Brinkley, who had a near-death experience, he was shown possible futures, earthquakes, fires, famines, all sorts of devastation. But the spirit guide told him, none of this need happen. Go back and teach love. So this guy was kind of a mean dude in his life. So go back and teach love. Don't be a mean dude anymore. And of course, he wasn't the mean dude anymore. But his message exactly wasn't well accepted in his town because he was known as a mean dude. And so even though he was trying to help homeless people rather than being mean to them, people didn't accept this new activity of his. But go back and teach love. So when we look at what's happening in the world today, are there earthquakes? Lots of people dying, lots of fires, lots of tornadoes, lots of bad things happening. Okay, the message for all of us, teach love. And so if any of our personal experiences, we can extend a message of love. That's part of what we may be called to do. And I had an experience a few years ago. There was a guy who had come out of prison, and he had been on my mail list for some years, and he was living at a TLP, a parole house. People on parole live there. So he was so angry and upset, and he did have a very angry background. But getting out of prison, going to a job fair, he didn't take his ID. Well, you need to take your ID to those things. So then he was sent to a job office, but he didn't take a social security card. So 2 things he did wrong in 2 days. And he was so angry. He said to me, if I had a gun, I'd start shooting. Well, I said, do I need to take you to the mental health complex? He said, no, you are my angel. I'll just talk to you. So in talking him out of this anger and desire to start shooting people, he got over that. So when we see these things going on in the world today, the people doing these shootings, they're in need of healing. And before they choose to do the shooting. So we individuals can't be out there doing those things in every place where this is going on, but we certainly need to use some wisdom and pray for these people that do these things, or to send a message out into the world that we need more healing and love in our world than we see going on today. So also in A Course in Miracles, Jesus said that his perception of things and God's wisdom is the same. So with God as source, this is a teaching of love and healing. So we need to be looking more out at the world with love and healing. Instead of seeing that everything is bad, we need to be praying for peace in the communities and around the world. And certainly on an international scene where there's still wars going on, we need more love and peace among our leaders. Also in A Course in Miracles, Jesus is pointing out that we're living in like a bad dream. And we need to wake up from a nightmare life. So looking at it personally, what kind of nightmares might be going on in your life? Is it a financial situation? Is it a relationship problem? Is it a health challenge? So what kind of nightmare might your life or you be dealing with in your life? But there's some people whose lives are a total nightmare. So when I'm teaching at the county jail, and I have a group of guys in the class, and their life has been a nightmare and they've ended up in jail. So what I usually do is, with the guy sitting next to me, I'll say, okay, you have a bad dream and you wake up and your heart's beating fast and you're sweating. And you wake up and you realize it's a bad dream. So I'll kind of shake the guy next to me and I'll say, wake up from your bad dream. The life you're living is a nightmare. It doesn't have to be this way. So bringing it to our personal situations, what situation in your life is like a nightmare? So if we use the wisdom that we've been referencing today, we can wake up from that personal nightmare. So going back to our statement of faith, there is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God the good. Okay, so if what's going on is not, as you would say, good, then take power and dominion over that, whatever the situation is. And so what was referenced in our daily word today, take dominion over it. I am a divine being. So in simpler words, I'm a child of God. And didn't Myrtle Fillmore do that? I am a child of God and I do not inherit sickness. God is not sick. I do not inherit sickness. So we claim dominion over sickness. We claim dominion over whatever it is that is our challenge at this point in life. So this is wisdom, putting the wisdom to use in our lives today. So last Sunday's guest speaker, his title of his sermon was Spiritual Amnesia. So really that's what this is all about. We are in some kind of spiritual amnesia. We have forgotten who we really are. And we are certainly reminded of this through this church and through the services and through classes and meetings of who and what we really are. We are divine beings. We are children of God. And so we don't need to be subject to these things that can befall us as human beings. We are more than this physical body. There's something very powerful within us in the soul and spirit, which is part of God. That's what makes us children of God. And so we need to use that or refer to that to do our overcoming. Also, in spiritual amnesia, there's a reference I use about Prince Charles, and now he's to be King Charles. But while his mother was alive, he was Prince Charles. But what if he would have had some kind of illness or head injury and he had amnesia? And he didn't know he was the child of the Queen and he was to inherit the throne of England. But that wouldn't take away who he really was. He still was the Prince Charles of England, and he would inherit the throne. So we're like that. We're children of God. We're in a type of spiritual amnesia of who we really are. This is wisdom. So again, going back to there is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God the good. So we need to be claiming that in our daily lives, no matter what it is that we are experiencing or what our challenges are. And this is part of our waking up from, we're not just a human being in this physical body. We are children of God, and we are given dominion over everything. So in the New Testament, the story of Paul. So Paul was bitten by, the scriptures say, a viper. So today's words is some kind of poisonous snake. And he had no symptoms. In other words, if you're bit by a poisonous snake, pretty soon you might faint or go unconscious because that poison will kill you. But nothing happened to Paul. And so the witness to this says, surely this is a man of God. So likewise, if something should happen to us that would be like a severe infection or something that could claim our life. So claiming dominion over these things, surely you are a child of God. And so when you do overcome these challenges, you will be recognized as a super being. And there's a book that was out a number of years ago with that title, Super Beings. So in other words, regular human beings succumb to anything that goes on in the air and in our lives. You know, we're weak human beings. But there's a certain group of people that are called super beings because they overcome everything. They're not affected by what's in the air or what's in the environment or what's going around or the normal illnesses or diseases that befall people. So there is some illnesses that carry with it a connotation of being so-called incurable. Well, that's because modern medicine hasn't found the answer. But does that mean it'll do you in? So Dr. Bernie Siegel said, well, if 90% of the people die of this illness, but 10% of the people survive, why not find out what these 10% did? You do it too, and you can be one of the 10% that survive. So this again is a word of wisdom of how we can overcome. And so there's a lot of information that might be detrimental and isn't really wisdom. But then there's a lot of information, especially that we get here at the center through the sermons and the classes and the books in the library of how to overcome. There's a lot of wisdom here. And so putting that wisdom to use in our lives, we overcome. We are a super being. We are a child of God, created in the image and likeness of God. And we claim dominion over these challenges. So put this to use in your life and you will have a overcoming story to tell us. So we'll take these thoughts into meditation. And I'll do a little reading from something that was in a daily word many years ago. So we'll start with our meditation with that. The Christ Spirit works through me as alertness and active intelligence. It is good to know that you need not rely on your limited human knowledge alone. Universal wisdom is yours to command. Your part is to make yourself open for the expression of this wisdom. When you have a sincere desire to let the mind of Christ, divine intelligence, be manifested in you, you can bring this intelligence into active operation through positive, faithful prayer. Pray each day for a greater understanding of the Christ mind and endeavor to improve your daily work by applying the Christ principles. Soon you will go about your tasks with a new consciousness of power. Motivated by a spirit of service, you will be alert to new opportunities. You will be poised and confident and attend to details of your work with accuracy, intelligence, and efficiency. The Christ Spirit working through you can accomplish unlimited good. So knowing that this Christ Spirit is available to us, just as Jesus said, it is not I that doeth the works, it is the Father that works through me. So whatever it is you are called to do, know that the Father works through you to first of all overcome whatever challenge you may be facing. So if there's healing that needs to take place, trust that the Father works through you to bring forth the healing. So if it's a blessing that is needed financially or in some other way, it is the Father that works through you to bring it about. And just as Jesus multiplied loaves and fishes, there was enough for everyone. So there is enough for you to meet your needs. There is enough to meet the needs of your family. There is enough to meet the needs in our community. There is enough to meet the needs of our country. And there is enough to meet the needs of countries and areas of the world in severe need or poverty. There is enough for everyone. So with the fathers working through us, or the energy and life spirit from Father, from Source, there is enough for us to go on and meet any challenge that we may face. We put this wisdom to use for ourselves personally, for our family, for our community. And we accept all blessings as gratitude. And we go on to be a light to those in darkness, as we are called to let our light shine. To bring this message of wisdom to those still in darkness. And we're thankful for all blessings that come of this.
Thank you, Joann. Lots there for me. If you would join me now in our offering prayer. There is no lack or limitation. Freely I give, and freely I receive from God's abundance. I am blessed as I give, and unity is blessed in receiving. And Doug and Julie and Kevin, and I think Linda, we got a little quartet going on here, are going to provide some music while Susan collects. Thank you.
Always seems to happen that there's some cool connections, so talk about the nightmares. Waking up from that, well, this was actually a dream, the way this song was written. Paul McCartney was, the band was fighting, the Beatles were having some problems, and he, I guess, went to sleep asking like what to do. And his mother came to him in a dream and said the words that you'll know on the chorus. When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. In my hour of darkness, she is standing right in front of me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be. Words of wisdom, let it be. And the broken hearted people living in this world agree there will be an answer, let it be. They may be parted, there is still a chance that they will see. There will be an answer, let it be. Everybody, let it be, let it be, let it be. There will be an answer, let it be, let it be. Be, be. The night is cloudy, there is still a light that shines on me. Shine until tomorrow, let it be. Wake up to the sound of music, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be. Be. There will be an answer. There will be an answer. Let it be.
I said it before, I'll say it again. We're pretty lucky. If you'd all raise your hand and bless these tithes, this generosity from everyone. Help us here at Unity to do good things, continue to do good things with this, continue to grow our center because we are a light to the world. And we say thank you, and so it is. Okay, announcements. I know it's everybody's favorite part. So let's see. Join us next week. Russ, who is helping out over there on the video stuff or audio stuff, will be our guest speaker. Okay. So Russ likes it when people come up to him after the service and say, oh, you were speaking right to me, Russ. Problem is he doesn't know what he's going to talk about. So you might want to see him after this service to tell him what to speak to you about next week. I think that's the gist. Okay. Moving right along. Kindred, supposed to be a great book. Thursday mornings, it's our book study here, 9:30 at the center, or you can do it in person, in person or virtual. Silent Unity Prayer follows that. We join people around the world at 11 o'clock to pray either in person or virtually. Our discussion groups, Course in Miracles, Sundays, led by our own Joann here. About 11:45 after the service, our Life Journey group on second and fourth Monday night, Reading the Quest, led by our own harmonica player, Kevin. Our website is always there for you to visit. Please take a look at it. Lots going on there. Volunteers, we always need volunteers. Somebody else could be doing this than me, not that I do it every week, but lots of places. Please reach out to, Diane's she's over there now. Reach out to Diane. Annual meeting is coming up. Please plan on attending April 30th. If you have any interest in being a member here, and you're not a member, please see one of us after services. Sandy's on the board, Diane, Kendall are on the board, Russ and Kevin and myself. We'd be happy to talk to you about membership, or you can call our office too. Oh, a picture contest. Isn't that something? Bring a picture of yourself, 10 years or younger, put your name on it. Eventually they're going to go up on the bulletin board out there in the community room. And if you guess the right name, you will win a $25 gift card. Woohoo! All right. Should be fun. So bring your pictures in. Potluck and games on the 26th after services right here. Bring a dish to share and a friend to play games with here. That's it. Let's stand and sing our closing song, Let There Be Peace. And usually we try to circle. Love of God holds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Therefore, we are God is and Amen. Good.